Justin Robert Young program is brought to you, as always, by PayJuryDaily.com. Support us, won't you? Oh, ladies and gentlemen, please, 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 welcome to the Justin Robert Young Daily Program. Got a lot to talk to you guys about. We got a fun Twitter story. In fact, I'm going to dispense with all the intros. I hope everybody had a good week as we get into this Twitter story about planning a wedding. I will say before this that I have planned a wedding before, or rather my wife planned a wedding while I was next to her. It was one of the most stressful years of my life. I wish it upon nobody. My advice to anybody who wants to get married is to take all the money they were going to spend on a wedding, go on a vacation, get married, and then have way cheaper parties with all of your friends and family where you can wear all the same clothes and spend a fraction of the money. But let's get into some of this. This is from Twitter. Let's see what the context is. This is a Last of a Dying Brand. She is 0L Spicy Keychain on Twitter. She prefaces this by saying, if you have 10 minutes to absorb this, I present a very real status shared in a wedding shaming group I'm a part of. Dear friends, it comes with great sadness that I am announcing the cancellation of our wedding. I apologize for canceling only 4 days beforehand. Unfortunately, my husband or fiance and I have broken up due to some recent and irreparable problems. We have decided to end our relationship and not go forward with any future proceedings. However, we are remaining civil and are still a team for our son. So I'm going to skip ahead a little bit. I'm going to edit a little bit just so we can get to the meat of this. Before I begin this mini novel, I invite all of you, including the cunts who have ruined my marriage and life, to put yourselves in my shoes. For once, let me take the stage and let me my voice about this most painful few months of my life. First, things were a fairy tale. I met the love of my life at 14. We were both young, but somehow we knew that we were meant to be. Blah, 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 blah. They got pregnant. They had a baby. Everything was good. They managed to save up nearly $15,000 for a wedding. Since our love was like a fairy tale, we wanted an extravagant, blowout wedding, one where our son could be included. We started touring venues and were torn between two. A local psychic told us to go with the more expensive option, and we thought, why the hell not? We just needed a little push. Our dream wedding amounted to $60,000, all included with flights to Aruba. All we asked was for a little help from our friends to make it happen. I specifically asked for cash gifts. How could we have our wedding that we dreamed of without proper funding? We'd sacrificed so much that we only asked. It's all we asked. Here's all we asked. Was for around $1,500 per person. We talked to a few people who even promised us that they would help make us our dreams come true. My maid of honor, who shall not be named, pledged $5,000 along with her planning service. We tearfully thanked and accepted. My ex's family offered to contribute $3,000. So our request for $1,500 for all other guests were not fucking out of the ordinary. Like, we made it clear. If you couldn't contribute, you weren't invited to our exclusive wedding. It's a once and a lifetime party. All right. Copy editing, moving it along. So we sent out RSVPs, and only 8 people replied and sent us the check. We were fucking livid. How is this supposed to happen without a little help from our friends? And to make matters worse, my ex's family took back their offer. Suddenly, more people backed out, including the cunt maid of honor, my best friend since childhood, my second family. I'm yelling because she's in all caps. I was so shocked and tearful. To make matters worse, it was only a month before the wedding. To cancel everything would have been more than $5,000. Desperately, we resent our invites and asked people to donate what they could. I mean, seriously, people, what is $1,000? What's $1,500? Clearly, not a lot. It would have been quite manageable within budget. I've heard of people asking a lot worse. We also set up a GoFundMe. That only got us $250. At this point, we were exhausted. Tired, I yelled at my ex. I became unraveled. I realized my dream wedding was becoming a nightmare, and then it got worse. All right. This is the good shit. Are y'all ready for the good shit? My ex came into the room and offered to get a Vegas wedding done. I laughed in his face, but he was dead serious. He wanted those cheap, raggedy, filthy, whore-like Vegas weddings. I mean, what the fuck? Was he out of his mind? Am I some hooch piece of fucking trash? A hooker? Am I supposed to like the idea of getting married in the heart of shady gamblers, alcoholics, and the get-rich-fast fallacy? Pause. Rewind. I mean, what the fuck? Was he out of his mind? Am I some hooch piece of fucking trash or hooker? Am I supposed to like the idea of getting married in the heart of shady gamblers, alcoholics? Pause. Turn up the volume. And slow down. Get rich fast fallacy. Rewind 2 seconds. Rich fast fallacy. Rewind 3 seconds. Get rich fast fallacy. Play. Suddenly my body began to shake as I entered a panic attack. My ex left the room and didn't apologize for his horrid suggestion. I then called my maid of honor and cried my eyes out. Instead of sympathy, I was told that I was asking for way too much. I should stick to my budget. I mean, no words can describe. How could somebody who offered me thousands of fucking dollars then deny me my promised money and then tell me to shift down my budget? She knows my fucking dream was a blowout wedding. I just wanted to be a Kardashian for a day and then live my life like normal. I called her a filthy fucking porn excuse for a friend and hung up. Then she blocked me off all social media. Rumors swirled. I received anonymous threats. My ex stayed out later and later, and I have a feeling he even cheated. My bridesmaids climbed on the boat with my maid of honor and dissed me. They essentially told me I was crazy. They asked for their deposit back, so I said, fuck you. I refuse to give it back until they can pay me back for their emotional distress. My ex started to talk to my maid of honor and gossip about me behind my back. I overheard him talking in the basement, and he called me a stuck-up bitch. Anyway, I'm exhausted. I'm bone-tired. My heart is empty at the same time. It's stone-cold fragmented. I need to get away from this awful society. How hard is it for you to be able to donate to friends? Just give me money for my wedding. I won't even sugarcoat. I won't even pretend that that's not what I wanted. It was for a dream. Goodbye. See you in 2 months. And a friendly reminder to you cunts. Don't you think you own me. I am cutting all you snakes off. I'm living my life for my own now. I only let in those I believe have good intentions. XO. 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 Man. Here's all I got to say to that husband. You fucked up. Not because of the wedding thing, but because she's in your life forever as the mother to your children. A note to all the JuRY Daily listeners. Never give crazy a baby. JuRYDaily@gmail.com. JuRYDaily@gmail.com is where you can go ahead and write into the show. Of course, you can always leave a comment right here on the YouTube page, youtube.com/Justin Robert Young. Bradley writes, I've been starting to notice that the Rush Limbaugh cadence is entering your voice, and I wonder if that's why we haven't heard more Rush Limbaugh impersonations. Are you noticing it as well? Or are you just getting old, dropping shows, getting embarrassed with the Night Attack losses? Are these effects too much? I'm really starting to worry that JuRY is burning out. Maybe you need family time, take a rest, some me time necessary. Please take a day centered around aromatherapy, vape cone, and chant some high thoughts. Please get some rest and please don't die. I have noticed that every once in a while, the Rush Limbaugh cadence slips into my daily voice. Although I will say this, if you are trying to do a one mic show, you should listen to other one mic shows. I listened to a fair amount of Rush Limbaugh as I was moving into this phase of trying to do one mic stuff. So there is an element of sports talk radio and Rush Limbaugh that will always be a part of any kind of one mic radio. There's an unnatural way of talking to this that happens to be there. I think the problem is that I'm also doing an impression of one mic people. So in a way, I'm kind of putting a hat on a hat. Like, not only am I learning from that cadence, but I'm then also making fun of them specifically. So, I don't know. As for burning out, I don't think I'm burnt out. Not yet. Nostril writes, during your countless diatribes regarding the vileness of mayonnaise, the subject of Miracle Whip has never surfaced that I can recall. The linked news story was brought to my mind, and I wish for you to comment on it for the amusement of your listeners. Tell me, Mr. Young, is Miracle Whip a lesser or greater evil than its mayonnaise nemesis? And the story that he sent me was from the Tampa Bay Times, an excellent newspaper out of Florida. Hold the Mayo is the headline. One Florida town is changing its name temporarily. Mayo, Florida is going to be renaming itself Miracle Whip, Florida. But apparently it's just a joke. It was a secret tongue-in-cheek marketing proposal for the Kraft Heinz own mayonnaise alternative. So they had a thing. All right, so they're not really naming themselves Miracle Whip, but they wanted to see if they could, work with the city to kind of make a big publicity stunt about it. I don't fuck with Miracle Whip. I don't fuck with mayonnaise, obviously. They are all, listen, Satan shows up to your doorstep wearing many faces, and to all of them, I say, not today, Satan. Not today. Also, this is the reason why I don't fucking claim any of Florida north of Orlando. If you're out here trying to fucking, I'm sure there's a lot of nice people, Tallahassee, Pensacola, Jacksonville. You're just not the Florida. If I could break that state in half, I keep the good half. That's all I'm saying. I keep the good half. Thomas wrote about millennials killing Hooters. Based on the women in my life, millennial women are more willing to speak up about things that make them uncomfortable, and Hooters is certainly one of those things. Hell, the thought of going to Hooters even makes me uncomfortable because I can't help but feel complicit in the Me Too culture. So business-wise, I think they are on the right track with the fast casual spinoff. As far as the Pornhub stat about millennials being more interested in butts than boobs, I find it intriguing, but I don't think that's the whole story. I'm a boob guy myself, but it's not like I don't. But it's not like if I don't include the word tits in my search, I'm not going to see any. And anyway, if I want a serious tit fix, my first stop is Reddit, where I visit r/titty drop, r/boob bounce, r/bigger than your thought, or bigger than you thought, or any of the other wonderful subreddits. This gets back to my other fascination recently, that Reddit is like also a porn place, like where people just post amateur pornography on Reddit. And it makes it to the front page. It's fucking insane. I had no idea. But yeah, so Thomas's point is that more people will have to search for, I want a big ass. But then again, I think also the Pornhub stats were that there are very popular porn stars that don't have big boobs. Moving on. Chris writes, isn't it more likely that millennials aren't big fans of big fake boobs? I know that when I click on big boobs on Pornhub, they're almost always fake boobs. Maybe if they have big and natural boob selection, it would make a difference in the data. Well, data science knows no bounds, Chris. He continues. As for Hooters, in between toxic masculinity, #MeToo, and the general idea that it is not cool to sexualize women in their workplace, maybe that has something to do with their decreases, that and the shitty wings. So, like, I don't want to be reductive here and say that, you know, if you are a server at Hooters, that you are that you are in sex work on some level. But I do think that there is an element of performance to Hooters, which is not, I mean, look, when you go to Vegas and you see showgirls have to meet certain body requirements, right? Because that is the image they are trying to present for the show. I do think that there is not necessarily, I guess personally, I don't necessarily see that as like a sexualizing women at work kind of thing, because I think that's kind of what you go there to get hired for. That's kind of what they are promising. At least they are upfront with it. It would be different if it was just a regular diner and you were leering. I guess like they're trying to sell the leer. Come here and leer should be the name of Hooters. I don't know though. I mean, I guess we can keep having people write in here. Anonymous wrote in with this. We got a little working man's blues for a Monday morning. I worked in an industry, let's call it construction, for 15 years. I know the ins and outs of the job, but for the last 8 years, I was a trainer for new hires. I switched companies a year ago for a better deal, but obviously started at the bottom of the totem pole. Now my boss and one of my longtime coworkers basically think crap of me. I'm as noble, if not knowledgeable, if not more than willing to do the work, even if it sucks a donkey dick. I keep my nose clean and yet get bad feedback from the boss like I'm slacking. Being very proficient in my work, I rarely need help, yet others end up asking me for help because I'm easy to get along with. At the end of the day, the work I do goes unnoticed and the help I give is not known to the boss. Today, we had a group project that I literally busted my ass on. Hot, heavy Florida work. When I was done with my part of it, my boss says to me, "That's good work. Glad to see you getting in on things." I can only nod my head and give a thumbs up because of exhaustion. But it hurts that he only said that because we were all doing a group project and thinks that I don't do the hard work otherwise. I work smart, not hard if I can avoid it. I would think that as a boss that you could appreciate the workers that don't get complaints about the calls, about things getting done. No real point here besides a working person's grief. All right. I got a hard lesson for everybody listening. If you heard that and you were like, oh my God, it's me. All I do is work hard. And all I see is fucking schmo assholes around me getting elevated where I should be getting elevated. Or I got a boss that doesn't look at me the way that I should be looked at. I want to give you a hard lesson. In a system like that, now it shouldn't be like this, but in an office system, you have to be your own publicity agent. When you do something big, when you do something good, you have to get credit for it. And it sucks, and it's ugly, and it goes against the hard-working ethos of shut up, keep your head down, don't be a braggart. But I would say the easiest way to do this is also highlight other people. Make sure that you're shouting out other people and in and around talking about how good other coworkers are, also talk about what you do. This is the key. Because there was something that I realized, you know, as in the few kind of Joe jobs that I had, it was like the most recent one, the Go Game one, I just knew if I did something big, if I got a tip, if I got 5-star stuff, I made sure to say, hey, go look at that. Look at how I knocked that out of the park. I just want to let all y'all know. It's over for you hoes. The anonymous hoes. It's over for y'all. I'm doing the best. I'm doing the, look at all these games I ran. I ran all these games. Doing great. No one want to know who else is doing great? All these other people. And then by omission, you can kind of like shit on the people that you actually don't think are going great. But you gotta be your own publicity agent. I'm telling you, it is the one thing that you should take away from this episode. All right, folks, that's about it. Our producers, The Jen, PD Rave, Non-Specific, Rock and Roll Martian, Joe Acosta, and Will. Support this show. Come on, man. Do it. Patreon.com, or sorry, payjurydaily.com. Again, payjurydaily.com. You can email jurydaily@gmail.com. Leave a comment right here on the YouTube, youtube.com/Justin Robert Young. Twitter, Instagram, Snapchat @Justin R. Young. That about wraps it up. Folks, I want to remind you that until the next time I talk to you, please don't. Diamond Club hopes you have enjoyed this program.